Hey there, seekers of spiritual, tangible results.
Welcome to the No Nonsense Zone, where common sense meets the spiritual. I'm Jason Parks.
I'm Emma Romano, your unapologetically real spiritual guides.
We don't sugarcoat, we don't dance around the woo-woo, we just deliver the raw, kick-ass truth.
Join us each episode as we dive deep into the mystical, cut through the bullshit, and show you how to manifest the tangible results you've been craving for.
No fluff, no filters, just two mentors on a mission to elevate your mind, body and soul.
Get ready to transform your life like never before. This is Soul Aligned Results, where spirituality meets the real world.
Welcome to Soul Aligned Results. I'm energetic therapy specialist and spiritual mentor Jason Parks, and with me is internationally renowned trauma and relationship expert, the amazing...
It doesn't sound rehearsed at all, does it?
No, not at all.
Hello, everybody. I love that you're sitting here listening to us. Today's going to be a doozy of a one. Go for it, Jason.
All righty. So today, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about paradigms. Now, I know we've talked about paradigms before, but this time we're going to distinctly talk about how society uses paradigms in order to control our thinking and how we need to break free of those invisible chains.
Can you explain what a paradigm is, please?
Of course. So what a paradigm is a mental model. So when we see the world, we interpret it through a mental model. What makes sense to us is really, it's what we've been conditioned to think makes sense to us.
Mm-hmm.
So once upon a time, everybody knew that the world was flat. They knew it. Why? Because the church told them that they did, that it was flat, and that's that. They knew that there was nothing other than this planet, that God made it, and that's all there is. And everybody knew that. Because if you didn't know that, there were severe consequences for having different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is read a little bit of history about Galileo, right? If you have a bit of a read about that, you'll realize just how strong social conditioning can be. So all of us have a mental model. We learned it from our family, and it's actually part of how our brains develop. So from about 2 to 3 months before we're born through to about 7 years of age, 9 years of age, really at the change of teeth is what marks the change. We go through two processes. One is that our consciousness is developing, and the other thing is our soul is anchoring into the body. It's incarnating. So they meet at that same point. And up until that point, we don't have a sense of self. We don't have a fully formed functioning brain that allows us to be able to see that that is separate from us. So everything just goes directly in, and we're just conditioned. Whatever is around us, we take as being normal. And that's the foundation of societal conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone around us thinking the same things within the same boundaries create a framework that we go, okay, that's normal. And that becomes the judge. That becomes the standard that I judge all other things against. So, yeah, do I have a good job? Do I have a good partner? Do I have good friends? So I only know that because I can look at everyone else's and say, yes, this is within the tolerable limits.
Yeah.
So
today, what are we talking about? How to break out of it?
How to break out of it. Yeah.
Why do we want to break out of it, though? What's the point of breaking out of it? I'm asking all these really hard questions today.
You're asking good questions.
I'm asking questions because I think this is what our listeners would be sitting there going, why do we want to break out of it? If it's safe. I tell you why I asked that question, because a lot of these paradigms are really safe.
Very safe.
You know, that's what my mum thought. It's what my cousins, my aunts, my sisters, my brothers, it's what people will be thinking. Like, why would I want to change that? Why do people want to change that?
You want to change it because the fundamental of the cultural paradigm is control.
Mm-hmm.
It is to keep you in a box.
Yep.
It's not so, and that box, as we see it now, it always has been to a degree. But the problem with that box is about you fitting into an established system. You didn't come into this world so you could fit into what other people have previously created. You came into
this is what I feel in my heart. I feel this is the problem with anxiety. I feel anxiety is actually because people are trying so hard to fit in that paradigm and they know it's innately not them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And something is telling them, like, this is not who you are. You're trying so desperately to fit into this box. You're not the box.
no, that's right.
And I really wholeheartedly believe that's what anxiety is about.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting, like when we look at as we've had a rise in marketing, um, there's a there's a very important thing that happened in the 20th century, and
Mm-hmm.
that was we shifted from a viewpoint where religion was telling us how to think to business was telling us how to think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're seeing this now um, because we're seeing almost the crest of the wave where in the US led this very deliberately. At the
Mm-hmm.
end of World War II, there were meetings. They're public record. They're not conspiracy theories, but there were meetings that were held by government to say, okay, around the world, we've had these problems. We've had the Great Depression. We've had two world wars. We've had revolutions in Russia, in China. We need to figure out how we're going to keep a stable Western system. And what they came up with was, let's use marketing. So marketers started to put forward an idea, and that idea is that you're normal if you want all the good things in life. You want a vacuum cleaner, you want a fridge, you want, an electric stove, you want a house, you want a couple of kids, one boy, one girl, you want a white picket fence and a little garden. That's what you want. And of course, it was just constantly hammered through the education system. It was hammered through radio and then ultimately into TV and so on, and now through the internet. So we're constantly being told what it is that we want. And when you're separated, the thing that is most important about this is that when you come into the world as a soul, the soul is here to heal itself, but
Yes.
it heals by creating.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't heal by consuming. So if you can't create, you can't get energy. So how do you get energy? You have to consume the energy of other people's creations.
Mm-hmm.
And the model that we work with now in the Western world is built entirely around that we must consume and continue to and increase our consumption in order to be fulfilled. So it's an absolute dead end game. So this is why we are doing the things that we're doing.
You
You
know, I just
know,
had an epiphany. When you were just talking now, I'm sitting there going, yes, there is something you and I do very, very, very well. And that is we fill our retreats within a few days. And now it's just clicked to me why? Because we're encouraging everybody to create, not consume our retreat, but create within the retreat.
that's right.
It's
Yeah,
not just about, like jump in, buy a course, buy this, buy that. We're
yeah,
actually we're producing a program where we're encouraging those people to create.
yeah.
Wow. Oh, we're good.
Well, one of the things that we decided to do, just to use as an example, one of the things we decided to do is that when people come to the retreat, we do not give them printed material.
No, we do not.
We give them a book. We give them
Mm-hmm.
a journal and pens and go, right, let's go for it. And that way, you're creating your textbook. When you walk away, you've got a textbook that's relevant to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're there for. You're not there to get something that's generally relevant to everyone because then
Mm-hmm.
it's not relevant to anyone.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
so it's creation is all that it's about. I mean, there's a reason why our structure is called soul aligned results, right? Is that we are pushing a barrow. Everyone's pushing a barrow. Our barrow is that people's souls can heal themselves and they can become who they wish to be in the world.
Yes.
Because when the soul's driving, that is a beautiful thing. That if we're running out of our pain body, if we're running out of pure consumption, then what we're doing is we're just fighting with everybody else for scraps on the floor.
Hmm.
And it's a terrible existence. So with it, I suppose the thing about a paradigm, what's really important about paradigms is you go, well, okay, how do I find out what a paradigm is? Well, what do you think's normal? What's common sense? You know, people always saying, oh, common sense isn't that common. It's like, yes, it is. Right? Sadly, common sense is that if you've ever driven in Canberra, this is a good example, right? If you've ever been to Canberra, I love Canberra. It's a great place. However, it's a totally public service town. It has a caste system, and that caste system is at the very bottom are people who are not in public service, and then the various layers of the caste are depending upon where you are. You're an APS one, you're an APS two, you're a EL one, right? You know, wherever you sit in that system is where you sit in that caste system. And I don't know if it's the same now, but I remember when I was younger, people would move suburb to suburb depending on whether or not they got a promotion.
Oh,
So it became it was very regional. You know, things moved around. I
okay.
don't think it's like that anymore. But one of the things that you see in Canberra that's really funny is the way they drive, right? Now, I live in Tasmania and we've got problems with the way we drive. There's no doubt about it. I think everywhere has its own versions, right? In Tasmania, we don't believe in indicators. So when people indicate in Tassie, they come up to a corner and as they turn, they put their indicator on, if at all, right? They don't put it on before because I don't know why. We don't want people to know where we're going or something. So,
Maybe. Maybe just want to make life difficult for others. I don't know.
that's right. It's like, what? Why do you need to know? You're a cop. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's that. But in Canberra, what happens is you see a lot with the driving. People are really rude. People don't let people into traffic. Like you go to Sydney and Melbourne and that, so people just stop and let you in because
Hmm.
it's like, well, if I don't let you in, you're never going to get in.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody's trying to get somewhere. So, but in Canberra they don't. They'll run you off the road in preference to letting you in. But that's a public service thinking. That's
So
that
that's their
idea.
paradigm.
Yeah, that's their paradigm. It's like, is that I work hard to get my promotion, and if I'm a level three or a level four, then I won't be taking any shit from a level one or a two. You
Wow.
know, and so it creates this interesting trickle down. Now
Hmm.
everywhere's got their own version of it. You know, Tassie has because we're an island. We're a reasonably big island, but we're still an island, and we have that island thinking, which is like, oh, it'll be all right, mate. They call it the lifestyle, as they call it here, the lifestyle, and it's treacherous because it means that people will go, well, I was going to have a go, but then I thought, why bother? I'll go fishing. So, so it's if
So
you want
how
to
do our people, how do our listeners go? How do they know they're in the wrong paradigm?
well, the paradigm is where you're going to be comfortable. You're going to feel that it's comfortable. But when you're comfortable, what do you do? Think about when you're super comfortable in the Western model now. You're sitting on the couch, you're watching TV. What do you do? Oh, I suppose I'll eat some chips, right? You're not out doing things. You're not creating things. You're not writing a book. You're not, you're not learning how to play guitar. You're not doing things that are fulfilling. You're not spending time with your family.
Hmm.
Everybody's spending, how many times have you seen where the terror of the scourge of the modern family is that you have everyone in a room with a TV on and everyone's on an independent device,
Yes.
right? So that just shows you just how disconnected we are.
Yeah.
And,
That's a
and
shitty paradigm.
it's a very shitty paradigm,
Shitty
but
one.
that is the cultural paradigm because what we want is we want you consuming,
Mm.
consume data, consume, like we just need to train you to consume,
Yeah.
because what are you going to do? Well, later on, you're going to be a professional consumer. Your
Mm.
job is to trickle money to a certain group of people, and those people sit at the top of that food chain, and those people are creators. And if
Yes.
if there is anything that marks the Western model. It is like, if you say, what is capitalism's purpose? It is to take all of the resources of those who consume and give it to those who create. That's what it's for, right? So when we look at it and we go, oh, it's terrible, the rich should pay more tax. Why? They've never paid tax. So they've never paid tax. Kings never paid tax, right? People paid tax to kings. They said, why do we think that now taxing the rich is the idea? They said, that's not what tax is for. Tax is to filter money in certain directions. And as much as we like to think that it's for the benefit of everybody and the most vulnerable in society, clearly when we look at the
It's
tangible
not.
results, we go, it's not.
It's not.
Exactly right.
It's
So,
not. It's not going there. That's for sure.
yeah. So it's that separation, that idea about of consumption. This is the big thing. If you get nothing else from today, you got to get that difference between creating and consuming. We are full of energy, and when we create, we unlock that energy. That energy comes out of us. So we don't lose it. We start to move it. And if we don't move it, that stays locked away. So how do we keep functioning? Well, we have to consume energy. This is why we're strip mining beautiful places. This is why we're cutting down trees. This is why we're putting additional chemicals into our food. We're doing that because we need to keep consuming. If we were creating, we would be having different options. We'd be coming up with different ideas. So, so with it, I suppose, I mean, I'm talking a lot about it. What are your thoughts, Emma?
Do you know what a paradigm is for me? A paradigm is like the matrix, and it's I believe we have our own paradigms. Say I'm going to get really personal and just talk about our own paradigms around what we think about ourselves.
Yeah,
Because I think that is the first paradigm that we need to break through.
absolutely.
Because because most people are focusing on what other people are doing, right? So, if Bob does this, I'm going to feel happier. If my husband stops doing that, I'll be happier. If my son stops doing that or starts doing that, I'll feel more relaxed. That's a paradigm that makes people very, very insecure and disempowered.
Yeah.
And completely distracted from their own creativity.
Yeah.
So what I suggest is this: everybody start looking at what you can do for yourself. How are you thinking about yourself? What are your thoughts on yourself? What are your thoughts on your body, on what you can do, on what you can't do, things like that? Are you living the life that you want? And instead of looking out, so the first thing most victimized people will say is, oh, it's not my fault, it's the government. It's not my fault, it's my mum. It's not my fault, it's my dad. It's not my fault, I'm in a religion. It's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. Yeah, it is your fucking fault. Sorry, but it 100% is your fault. And when we start noticing that, we go, oh shit, now I can do something about it. I love that everything's my fault, because then that means I can change it. If it really is somebody else's fault, I am completely powerless to that. And that makes me sick.
Yeah, that's right.
That makes me very, very anxious when it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Because when it's my fault, I can go straight into creative mode. And I may not know what to do, but here's a top tip. You don't always have to know what to do. You just got to hold the vision of who you want to be. Right. So say if I'm 20 kilos overweight, and I'm talking from personal experience, I was 20 kilos overweight 5 years ago, and I was drinking a bottle of wine a night. I was eating all the wrong food. I wasn't active. I wasn't creating anything. I had created this amazing business, and then I sat in it, and I didn't keep creating in it. Yeah. And my body got really, really big, and I got very, very anxious and discombobulated. And then I was always blaming everything else. I was even blaming, get this one, here's a deep one. I was blaming my belief systems.
Mm.
Well, guess who has the belief system? Me.
That's right.
I'm the one holding on to that belief system. And it's incredible how many people will say, and they'll blame sadness. Oh, but I'm sad. Sad is not a person.
No,
Sad is an
you,
emotion
yeah,
that
you create sadness.
you create the sadness. Sadness is an emotion that you are consuming because you're not creating happiness. And a belief system is something that's either working for you or it's not. So if I have a belief system, I can't lose weight, I am consuming that belief system because I don't want to create health and wellness in myself.
Yeah.
And so it's all down to us. Like, I really, really suggest people get a pen and paper, put some solfeggio music on or something, and sit there and go, what paradigm am my thoughts and actions and feelings trapping me in?
Yeah.
Because we entrap ourselves. And I get it at the beginning of life, literally for the first 18 or maybe 23 to 24 years before our brain completely develops at 24. I do know that we follow along with all the other paradigms and the cultures. I get it. My best friend's doing this, so I need to do that. And it's all about connection. I get that. But if you're 25, you need to start looking at your paradigms. What are you trapping yourself into? Why are you sitting there consuming the chips or the cake when you know it's not good for you? And everyone goes, oh, but I need some, I need help. I need help. I need help. You need guidance. What you do is you really need somebody to kick you up the ass and say, you got this and you can create it. Yeah, see a therapist, definitely. But don't let that therapist ever tell you that, one, you're broken.
Yeah.
Two, that you've got a problem and it's ADHD, or because, and that's just another paradigm. It's an ADHD paradigm.
Yeah.
It's another victimization of yourself. You're victimizing yourself again. Oh, see, it's not me, it's ADHD. Bullshit. I think we all have I have ADHD for sure. You want to be in this brain for 5 minutes? Fucking hell. It's exhausting, right? But I am such a creator. And I think that is what, and there's times when I can be the consumer, and the time when I'm a consumer is when I stop creating.
Yeah.
I'm straight on Facebook. I'm looking, well, what can I buy? I always know, because I'm sitting there going, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy that. That will make my life better. And I go, and just before I'm about to put my PayPal in there or my credit card in there, I stop and I go, oh, Emma.
You've done it again.
Emma.
Yeah.
We go. Come on, dolls. Come on, love. Get off the couch. And then I'm like, wow, I haven't been creating.
Yeah.
And so I really feel for us to have a different life, we have got to look at ourselves really, really deeply, but not harshly, not in a harsh way or a shameful way, which is tough. Because when we're sitting there and we're in our 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, and we're going, oh shit, I really messed that up. We're not allowed to, most people will go into shame and not want to look at it because they have to admit that they've been wrong for 50 years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't, and the listeners here, don't go into that, oh shit, but now I have to admit I've been wrong, or I haven't been the parent that I thought I've been, or I haven't been the wife or the husband that I thought I've been, or whatever it might be. Don't do that, because that's now consuming shame.
Yeah.
You want to create, thank God I know this now.
Yeah.
Like, far out. I'm glad I know this now and I can stop it, because I don't want another 30 years, 10 years, 5 years, 1 year of it. I don't want another 5 minutes of it. Go into the celebration, create the celebration instead of consuming sadness or consuming guilt or consuming fear or shame around it, because that's just another shitty freaking paradigm.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. You kind of got to imagine if you got all these different game boards out. So say we've got Monopoly and you've got Ludo and you've got Snakes and Ladders and whatever else there is, chess, checkers, whatever. And each one is a paradigm, like each one is your own personal world. And you're sitting on checkers and you're constantly getting beaten down and it's only black and white. Change your game board. Go hang out another game board. I suggest make your own game board.
Yeah.
Where Snakes and Ladders, you never go down a snake. Maybe it's you get to ride a unicorn or something. But But just go into creation. And I have this thing that I want to share with everyone. I'm sure I've shared it before, and it's a very strong, strong promise to myself and an agreement. It's a very strong agreement and belief. And it's not a belief because I know it, it's a knowing. Everything is always working out for me.
Yeah, that's so powerful.
Everything is always working out for me. And this is the best part of it. I don't even need to know how, when, or why.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
just I just know because I let go of all expectation of it. I don't need to know if something really shitty is happening to me right in this minute. I just know it's working out for me in some way.
Yep.
I don't need to know what it is, how it is, or why it is right now. It will be so evident to me in a day, a week, a month, a year. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care about this. I don't put a time on it. I just know that everything is working out for me right now. And what that does to your nervous system, it completely calibrates your nervous system. And don't believe it, because I believe a belief is a lie. It's something that we're trying so hard to convince ourselves of. I'll give an example to the readers, to the listeners. It's like, if I don't believe I have two children, I know I have two children. I don't believe I'm sitting on a podcast with Jason. I know I'm sitting on a podcast with Jason. So for me, a belief is bullshit. And I think this is why it creates belief systems, limiting belief systems of I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm a dickhead, whatever it might be. Because that's a belief system, it's not true. And we spend so much effort and time trying to prove it right. But it's not. It's like saying, I'm trying to prove right that my cat has 7 legs. It's going to take me a lot of effort to prove to everybody that my cat has 7 legs because he clearly doesn't.
Yep.
He has 4. So I think we really need to stop putting so much effort into proving how fucked up we are and start just knowing that everything is always working out for us if we are in creation mode.
Yeah.
If we're in creation mode, everything is always working out for us because everything's a lesson.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. That's what I've got.
I think it's great. I think it's great. It's so important that that when we look at things like the idea of like a cultural paradigm, that is a shared belief. Everybody is agreeing to the same thing that somebody made up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. It's just well. It's easier. There's a thing in Australia. For those of you who are listening overseas, there's a thing in Australia that's a bit sad, really. That if you want to connect, and I'm sure it's similar around the world, but if you want to connect with people in Australia, the easiest way to do that is start whinging about something. If you start whinging about something,
God, I know.
everybody's like, "Oh yeah." You know, next thing you know, you're in the middle of a conversation and everybody's happy together. Is that if you try and build something, it's if you say, you know, is that oh, this is what I've been working on. Most people are like, oh, well, you're up yourself, aren't you? You know,
Yep.
who do you think you are? Is one of the great Australian
Yep.
ideas, right? But that's just a cultural paradigm, it's a shared belief. And the thing about, I suppose, the paradigms, things that are really important. There's a skill that you can create, which is called paradigm modification, right? Is that you take a belief and then you just change it. You take, how did you get that belief in the first place? You decided to, and then through repetition, you made it permanent.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do very easily is that you just switch it around. So if you have a belief that you're a victim of a circumstance, you just do the opposite. So an example of that is like, I can't lose weight. I can't lose weight. All right. Okay. So I just need to change it. So it's like, well, health is my natural state.
Mm-hmm.
Being healthy is my natural state. And if I just keep working it in repetition, what I'll do is I'll change the way I think. And this is very important, something I'm about to get to. When I change the way I think, what happens is it's now easier for me to change how I feel about things. So instead of looking at myself in the mirror or standing on the scales and feeling awful, now I start to feel like I'm in process. I start to feel like change is happening for me.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get excitement about what I'm doing. So now things are shifting vibrationally. I'm going to start saying different things. I'm going to start doing different things. And when I think, I feel, I speak, and I do things differently, I start an initiating process that means I become someone else. Instead of being overweight, unhappy, broke, unhappy, single, unhappy, instead of being all those unhappies, I now start to create myself into who I want to be.
Mhm.
And the rest of the world responds to that. And this is the ugly truth of groupthink, right? Of cultural paradigm, but also the power of it. And that is whatever you do, how you think, how you feel, how you speak, how you act, and who you are resonates at certain frequencies. And when you resonate at certain frequencies, the higher the frequency, the more individual power you have. So that's why we want paradigms will always be restrictive
Mhm.
because it's to keep you in your box. That's what it's for.
Yep.
So any adopted paradigm will always keep you in a lesser position. But the thing that's important about it is whenever you shift in frequency, there's five things that become available or become less available. And that is knowledge, first one, right? There are ideas that you simply do not understand at different frequencies.
Mhm.
There's information
True.
that comes in. There's a thing that we do, and I know we've talked about this before, but it's really funny. It's when you're talking and you might be talking about something and be in a really high frequency. And then as you start thinking about it, your subconscious will start linking up examples from the past that were not as good. So as you start linking those up, you start to lower your frequency and you'll start a
Yeah, because you're
sentence.
thinking about something. We do it all the time when we're in retreat.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give example of it. So say I'm sitting in a really high frequency, high vibe, and I'm talking about, creation and all of that, and all of a sudden I'll be talking about how I healed myself from multiple sclerosis, right? And
Yeah,
I'm going back 10 years, and all of a sudden I go, I don't know where I was.
that's right. You can't remember what
I
the
go,
rest
I,
of the
I
sentence.
can't, I can't remember what I was talking about. And
Yeah,
then like Jason will have to go, lift your energy. I go, okay, for me. Okay, got it. Okay, I've got it. I got it. I got it. Got it. Got it.
that's it.
It's like opening up different books. One there's a
Yeah,
really
it's
shitty
crazy.
book. It's the MS book, and it's like, hate myself, fucking shit. I'm useless. Whatever I do is not enough. And then I've got the book out that's what we run at when we're at retreat, and it's like, yes, we've got everything. We're amazing. We can create. We're this, we're that. And I'm like, I have to swap the books.
Exactly right.
It's so
Yeah,
funny. We do it all the time.
yeah. They're up and down all the time. So
Yes.
So what you so the knowledge that's available to you will change. The manifestation will change.
Oh,
So,
yes. Whew.
so not just what turns up, the quality of it, the speed of it,
Yeah.
is that will change quite dramatically. Um, the soul groups will change. So the people who are naturally attracted to you will change.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, one of the things that happens, and it's often a common question about, um, I started doing spiritual work, and even though I didn't talk to people about it, I didn't say anything to people about it, whatever, but like half my friends left me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like yes, because you've moved out of the bandwidth where they're all living,
Yes.
and that's created a space for new people to come in.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that will happen as well. The other thing too, there's a thing, I think we've all experienced it, where you maybe get caught in a bit of a negativity bender,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll just get dragged down for a few days, and then you'll have somebody that you haven't talked to for a decade, and you're glad you haven't talked to them for a decade, and they'll bloody find you on Facebook, or they'll, and you go, how is it possible? It's like, well, you moved into their frequency
Into
again.
their frequency. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
so the third one's soul groups. Okay, so you've got knowledge available, manifestation, soul groups. There's karmic lessons, meaning that there's certain spiritual lessons that are available only at certain frequencies. Um, You don't have to worry too much about that. That sort of takes care of itself on the bigger picture. But the most important thing is opportunities and problems.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunities and problems will change dramatically depending on what frequency you're sitting at. So, where it's really important to us about why we need to take control of how we think. And I always think about when I started studying some stuff about anthroposophy, which is Rudolf Steiner's teaching, spiritual teaching. Rudolf Steiner's work is incredible. But in his fundamentals, he always said the very first skill in spiritual practice is the ability to think. And my understanding of that is it's not about how we logically process things.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about how we can connect in through the spirit. The spirit now starts to inform the soul starts to inform the mind. So that when I'm thinking in a direct line of from source right through to what pops into my head.
Mm-hmm.
So that is thinking in spiritual terms, not in modern social terms.
Yeah.
So for us, choosing what we think is probably the most important starting point for anything. Because even just in the most simplest terms, if I turn around and say, let's get fit, and you go, oh no, I can never do that. Well, all action stops, all energy,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
movements.
Yes.
Let's start a business. Oh no, it's a bad economy. Let's eat better. Oh no, it's too expensive. Right? As soon as we shut it down, everything shuts down.
Everything shuts down. It's the same
So
as the I don't know.
exactly.
When people go, well, what do you think you could do? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. And then it's because there's a no in it, the brain shuts it off. There's no movement in it.
Yeah.
The best thing to do if you don't know is to sit there and go, I'm working it out. Or I'm in practice of finding out.
Yeah.
It's coming to me.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be. But the minute we say no or stop or give blame, there's neuro pathways in our brain and they give us the answers to things. So with every problem, there's 13 answers to every problem.
Yeah.
And we can usually come up with one. We'll come up with one and go, nah. Two, yeah, no, that's not going to work either. And then that's it. Because the neurons in our brain actually stop searching for the answer because you've gone no.
Yeah.
And then one of the biggest one is when we blame something else, it's a massive no. So we've got these neurons that go zzz, like electric in our head, and the electrical pulses in our head when we're blaming somebody else dulls us down.
Yeah. Incredible, isn't it?
Isn't it interesting? We're literally giving our power, like literally giving our brain electromagnetic power away.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing thing. So I suppose the takeaway for people is at the end of this episode, what I really hope for everybody is just have a look at an idea. If you get an idea that pops into your head, just sit back from a little bit and examine, because that's an important part of spiritual practice. Examining what pops into your head, especially before it gets to your mouth. That's that's a really important life skill, right?
That's a very good life skill. Yes.
Because that's how we get caught, and that's how groupthink spreads.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, I open my mouth, and so on. It just keeps going. So because I don't think, I just start spreading it. But in spreading it, I'm getting agreement. And whatever you're in agreement with becomes your reality.
And this is something I also want to talk about. People will blame their parents for their belief systems around themselves. So I give you an example. Most of my clients will say, oh, because of my mum and dad, I have low self-worth. And when it's not because of your mum and dad, you're in a paradigm with your mum and dad. Your mum and dad have low self-worth.
Mm.
it's a cultural thing. Everybody in your family would have low self-worth. I said, you've just gone, okay, I will agree with you then. Instead of going, well, hang on, that doesn't work for me. You've just gone, I'll agree with you then. I'll hang out with you guys in your low self-worth and believe the same thing of me. It's like when you get generational obesity. There's no obesity gene. There's no depression or anxiety gene either. It is, you're in a paradigm of, this is how I cope.
Yeah, that's right.
This is my answer to this problem, I overeat, or my answer to this problem is depression, or my answer to this problem is anxiety, my answer to this problem is whatever it is. And you're gone, okay. And I get it when you're young, I get it. But when you're older, why are you still like, why do people still in agreement with it?
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
It's a shitty paradigm. And the thing is, nobody knows that they can get out. But believe me, I do this work every freaking day. You can get out.
Yep.
100%. You just got to think, feel, speak, do differently. They're the 4 things. As soon as you catch yourself, thinking something, stop it. Stop the thought. Swap it with something that's going to lift your vibration. I always think of flamingos. I think they're cool. I lift my vibration and I get super present, because right here, right now, nothing is wrong. There is nothing wrong. Wherever you're sitting listening to this, you beautiful listeners, there is nothing wrong. You're just sitting there or walking or wherever you are. There is actually no danger. But when we're not here and we're away somewhere else in our minds, like if we're at the next door neighbors in our head or trying to figure out dinner, we're not here. And then we'll pull up all these problems that we've been taught about, like I've got work tomorrow. Oh God, I hope I don't do this. And I hope they don't say that. And it's all make believe. And then because you're invested so much in, this is the manifestation. This is the magic of manifestation. People say to me, I don't believe in manifestation. I said, then you would be dead.
That's right.
Because everything in your life, you've manifested it. Freaking everything. I love it when women say to me, I think about the evening coming home from work and the shit show I'm going to get. The kids are going to be whinging. The husband won't do anything. And I go, and you manifest that every freaking day, because you do the same thing. You're thinking about it, massive emotional attitude towards it. So it has to come true. That's a universal law.
Yep.
Imagine if you imagine something really good and invested a really high energetic frequency with that, like love and laughter. I wonder how your day would go. Just pretend. Just do it. Try see if it happens for a night. They ring me. Are you a witch? I go, no, I'm just using universal laws. You can't.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You can't. Universal laws are the same for everybody. Have a vision, have a massive emotional reaction to it, and it will come true, good or bad.
Yep.
That's just the way it is. No one's making this shit up. It's universal law.
Yeah. Cause and effect.
That's it. It's cause and effect.
Yep.
Anything else you want to chat about before we switch off?
No, I think that's us. I just wanted to mention, we should mention all the things. So
let's mention all the things.
Yes. So everyone, if you're interested in finding out more about us, we have a website, solarlineresults.com, that talks about what we're regularly doing. We're regularly running masterclasses, retreats, and mentoring, which we do. So
yes, we do personal mentoring with people. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So that information is available. Please like and subscribe if you think this is beneficial. We don't make money off this podcast. We use it as a way of contributing into our community and getting information out there, and it just makes it easier for other people to find us.
Yeah, and please share. Be great.
Yeah,
thanks everybody. We'll see you later. Love you guys.
Thanks everyone.